Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3323. Today's date is 31st of January 2024. Sorry, 25. It's been almost like a night at 10 p.m. All right, we directly jump into the question. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay, yeah. Question is, if the human body is a machine, then what is the most brilliant design? Okay, wow, that is a really good question. All right, yeah. First of all, where is this question came from? Okay, so a couple of days ago I was kind of like somebody watching Leonardo da Vinci, okay, web show, okay, yeah, Demons of Leonardo, okay, really incredible. I was really fascinated and inspired by the thought process of Leonardo da Vinci, and I wanted to think like Leonardo da Vinci, okay, yeah. But how do I supposed to do that? How do I supposed to think like Leonardo da Vinci? Okay. Basically, it's this thing. Then I went to the ChatGPT. I asked that key suggest me some questions so that I would think like Leonardo da Vinci. So basically, this is the one of those questions. Okay, yeah. Like basically, what is really brilliant design? Okay, yeah. So do you get it? So this question, what is at least this question? The question says that if the human body is a machine, then what is the most brilliant design? Okay, first of all is that, okay, right now I am recording at this artifact at 2025, year of 2025, January 31st January 2025. Okay, and basically is this thing ki we are kind of like something evolved so much as a human as we improve our technology really good, really great. Okay, we have kind of like a build such a thing that kind of like a something incredible. Okay, yeah, artificial intelligence is kind of like a simply one of those. All right, yeah, but still our human body is kind of like a something such a complex machine that we won't be able to create that particular thing. Okay, yeah, because just try to understand our human body. Okay, the brain, the hand, the legs, and then entire organs are kind of like a something compact in our entire body in a such a way that they are doing such a thing that keeps us alive, and as also doing the work that kind of like a something incredible that machine won't be able to do this thing. Okay, yeah, let me give you particular example. There is a Boston robotics. Okay, if you search about Boston robotics, it's a kind of like a simply organization or something that who kind of like a create such a robot who is equivalent to do work as a human. Okay, yeah, they create a kind of like a such a robot who kind of like a do such a thing. Okay, yeah, little bit stuff like that. But probably is this thing robot won't be able to do. Yeah, like basically in their demo video you could see that that robot could kind of like a doing backflip, running and everything, but it's a programming. Okay, yeah, means like that he didn't really learn running, no. Like a humans are did little bit of programming, like a developers are did little bit of programming, so that's why he could run. Okay, that's why that robot could run. Okay, yeah, like basically is this thing that if the water is ahead, still that robot wants to run because of that robot has a programming to run. Okay, yeah, but as a human we don't really run at every situation or every surrounding, no. Example, okay, if we have a task, okay, yeah, like a like as a human has a task and robot has the same task, okay, that we have to run. Okay, yeah, now kind of like a something consider very different situations. Okay, yeah, first of all a flat surface. In that flat surface humans and robot are both the running really good, as well as robots are running really well and robots are gaining really faster. Okay, yeah, then mountains ahead. Okay, in the mountain human won't be able to run. Okay, why? Because it does really require kind of like a something torque or some sort of kind of like a something like it really required power to climb that thing. Okay, running won't be able to possible while climbing. Okay, yeah, but robots are try to run and it fail multiple times. he try fail multiple times and he won't be able to climb, because when we want to climb the mountain, we have to stop the running and kind of like use our power to kind of like in your legs to lift up yourself to upward. Okay, yeah. Running is a kind of like a different thing. Climbing is a kind of like something very different thing. Okay. So basically, is this thing कि robots are kind of like a something really follow such a instruction that their developer is kind of like a something doing such a thing. Okay, yeah. But the robots can't learn by themselves. Human like right now they have kind of like some certain technology, they could kind of like simply analyze the situation and they could try to run, but probably not equivalent to like humans. Yeah, like basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing in the running competition might be robot would be kind of like a simply winner, but in the everyday activity humans are kind of like a simply far more viable kind of like a simply person, viable kind of like a something is this thing that robots can't beat. Definitely not. Okay, like basically while we are running we could dodge, we could stop, we could jump, we could slide, we could do anything. Okay, as well as robots could do such a thing like that. But let me tell you one thing now, the instant decision making and the way that you move your body, robots won't be able to do that. As also while running you have to balance your weight. Okay, yeah. Because when we run, balance are kind of like a something very tricky to challenge. We have kind of like a something gyroscope built in inside that we kind of like a something balance our entire body on our leg. Robots, in other hand, they have their gyroscope, but which is not really sufficient. Okay, which is kind of like something very different. Example. Okay, yeah. Have you tried to kind of like a something put your stick, okay, a kind of like a something just a stick, and try to balance the stick on your palm of your hand? You try to balance for kind of like a couple of seconds. Okay, why? Because you have kind of like a gyroscope built in inside of you, so might be at least like a you are kind of like a something balance that particular stick for at least like a couple of seconds. Okay, or if you are kind of like a train yourself, then you might be kind of like a balance that entire stick for like a more than minutes or something like that. Okay, yeah. This is why, because of that we could kind of like a learn and we could kind of like a train our muscle body and everything. As a robot won't able to do that. Definitely not, because the built-in gyroscope that robot have for balance their bodies, not other bodies. Okay, yeah. They won't be able to kind of like a balance the stick on their palm of their hand, nothing really at all. It's, yeah, they might have kind of like a some future technology, but still they are not that much precise as a human as we are. Okay, yeah. So humans are kind of like a something far more better than, far more kind of like a something such a machine that robots still at this moment still not kind of like a something compete. Okay, yeah. Because humans could do such a thing that, like, I'm not talking about thought process. Okay, thought process is kind of like a something very different thing. I'm just talking about kind of like a something functionality. Just try to look at your kind of like a some hand. Okay, your finger. Okay, let me tell you one thing, how many bones you have in your finger. Almost like a maybe hundreds of bone is actually in your fingers, the five fingers. Okay, and way that they move, the way that they do, the way that they grab, the kind of like hold the object, push the object, lift the object, move the object, the way that it could, those hands could do, no one, no machine could replace that thing. At least like 100 year from the future perspective, no one could replace the hand, because the hand is a kind of like a something, such a kind of like a something crawl that we have, which could do so much thing that you won't be able to knew it. Okay, yeah. And probably is this thing, the way that you're holding your hand, the way that you're kind of like a doing with your hand, the way that the, like, just imagine this thing, dude. Okay, yeah. In any other species, like basically take any species, no one could do such a thing that our hand could do. we could hold the object, we could lift the object, we could kind of like a balance our entire body through our object. Okay, we could handstand, we could kind of like a play basketball, we could kind of like a simply throw some sort of thing with aim. It really required kind of like a simply very precision thing to do such a thing like that. Dude, can you just admire your hand could do, and try to kind of like a something compare the every mechanism that we create, like a basically every mechanism. It's like no one could do that. The hand, the way that they could do is like right now no mechanism kind of like a do such thing like that. Can you just admire your hand at least once? Okay, yeah, it's kind of like a something very amazing thing that might be just like na ki it's like amazing design your hand. Just look at your hand. Okay, yeah. And as also I'm not comparing this hand with a machine, as also comparing your hand with every species. Like basically existing the monkey is a kind of like a simply equivalent same amount of hand, like a basically the way that we have hand, the monkeys they have hand too. Okay, yeah. But as also monkeys are kind of like a develop their hand in a such a way that they could lift their body for very long period of time, but they would not do such a thing like that. Like basically is this thing that the way that the utilization of the hand that we do, monkeys won't be able to do that much. Okay, like basically I'm guessing is that ki the most of the things that monkeys would do with their hand is kind of like a lifting their body, holding some sort of things, or kind of like a something. I don't know, yaar. Okay, probably is this thing na ki hand is not just only one thing. Okay, probably is this thing it really required movement of your every finger, the every bone, the your forearms and your hand to your shoulder. The way that our hand could do was kind of like a something monkeys won't be able to do that. Like I'm not kind of like a something a doctor person or kind of like a scientist person to kind of like a try to compare which is good, like a monkey's hand good or yeah, like I'm gonna say regarding about strength point of perspective, might be monkey's hand are kind of like a something way more capable enough to do such a thing, because monkey's hand are kind of like a something meant to be do very strengthy stuff, like basically they use their hand for running, so basically they have like a bigger strength in their hands. That is kind of like a something okay, but it's just like that. Other than that, humans have kind of like a something such a incredible things that they have that it's really great. Okay, yeah, it's something that ki, I don't know how do I supposed to express this thing, but it's like a really amazing. Okay, yeah. So now question is, what is actually the brilliant design that we have, a brilliant kind of like a thing that you are kind of like something admire that ki no machine, no species could do such a thing. First of all, hand. Okay, then I'm gonna say brain. Okay, yeah, the way that we think, the way that we do, the way that we develop this world. Okay, as also I'm competing my brain with every other species, not my brain, kind of like a human brain. Okay, I'm competing my brain to the every species of the planet. Okay, yeah. Basically is this thing ki every species has its own brain, definitely had its own brain. But what is actually functionality? Okay, what is actually the brain? What is actually the meaning of brain? Okay, so I'm not kind of like a somebody scientist, as I mentioned earlier, and as also I didn't really have that much of information regarding about what exactly brain does. Okay, but I'm trying to tell you regarding about perspective about the brain. Okay, I'm talking about the universal brain. Okay, means like that ki, like basically if there is a pigeon. Okay, pigeon has a brain. Okay, yeah, what does pigeon brain do? Okay, yeah. So brain is a kind of like a something very essential part. It gives you kind of like a something decision to what does kind of like a something best for their kind of like a something host for best of their body. Okay, yeah. Example. Okay, pigeons are kind of like a something very fly. Okay, like basically they are always being fly. Okay, yeah. They are birds. Okay, birds are kind of like a somebody always really required a kind of like a somebody energy or carries a kind of like a somebody calories. Okay, yeah. Why? Because like basically is this thing when we are flying, which really require lot more energy than walking or kind of like a running. Okay, what do you mean by that? Yeah, like that is true, by the way. Okay, because of that key, when we are flying, like basically if I have a wind and if I could fly, I really require a lot of energy. Okay, like basically like it really require a lot of energy, more than energy that kind of like I'm running and walking, I really require a lot of energy. Okay, yeah. So basically, if I have that much energy, if I really require that much energy, that means my body structure might be different. Why? Because I have to store that much energy at somewhere. Obviously, human stomach is a kind of like a something very little space. So we need a kind of like a something bigger space. So that's why birds are kind of like a something have a kind of like a something a big storage at their kind of like a chest and stomach are kind of like a something connected with each other. Okay, yeah. As also is this thing, if I'm flying, obviously I'm using my legs are very less, so probably I have very little less muscles on their legs, so my leg would be kind of like a something little less. Same thing happen in the brain, same thing happen with the birds too, they have kind of like a something very tiny legs, nothing really at all. Okay, as also is this thing, I don't really have any hands because I have a wings. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing, if I have to hold something or grab something, I really require to kind of like use my mouth much. Okay, yeah. So that's why I would have a kind of like a something big mouth. Okay, might be kind of like a something a very big and pointy. Same thing happen with the birds. They have kind of like a very big mouth, big pointy and something very solid. Okay, it's a kind of like a something is this thing that key our brain, like a universal brain, I'm talking about the universal brain. A universal brain is kind of like a giving some such a instruction regarding about their kind of like a something body, what does they should supposed to do, and they are kind of like a adapt that thing years of later. Okay, yeah. As also is this thing, same thing happened with the brain. Okay, pigeon brain, that key like they are kind of like a something not using that much. Okay, why pigeon have brain and they are not using that much? Like they might be used maybe, but it's just like that. Naki, what is exactly okay? If I'm trying to compare the our brain and pigeon brain, okay, what's kind of like something very different? Okay, our brain are kind of like a design to wants to know. Okay, curiosity. I'm not really sure pigeon have that thing. Okay, why? Because like they are not really developed that much. Okay, yeah. It just I'm not really sure why their brain, like every species has a brain. Okay, yeah. And their brain are kind of like a something protect their body from every circumstances, so that's why they would kind of like a try to change. Okay, like if they are flying, then probably they have little less leg, then they have no kind of like a somebody hand, they have bigger mouth. Okay, they could fly, they always want to eat, so pigeons and every flying things are always are hungry, they just eat. Okay, yeah, literally, yeah. Like basically this thing, if we put food for 24 hour for the birds could eat all the time. Okay, yeah. Like as we kind of like somebody humans or any like just example dog or cats or kind of like a something any living organism who is kind of like a something walking or running on the surface, they are kind of like a eating whenever they need it. Okay, yeah, but birds are like always are eat. Why? Because they are kind of like a really required so much energy to flying, and flying really required that much energy. So that energy means they have to eat something. Okay, and they are always eating, and they could eat anything. Like basically, it's this thing. Birds are kind of like a carnivorous and herbivorous at the same time. What's a carnivorous? Carnivorous means like that ki they could kind of like eat any dead animal or any kind of like a stuff. Okay, yeah. As also they could kind of like eat something herbal thing too, like a seeds or something like that, they could eat that too. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing that ki, birds are kind of like a something create such a ecosystem in their body so that they could kind of like digest anything. Literally they could digest anything. Yeah, not like a basically metal, they won't be able to eat the metal. Yeah, but still it's just like I'm trying to telling the perspective of that. Okay, yeah. But what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: our brain is a kind of like something incredible things that we have. As I'm not really talking about the neurons. Okay, the neurons that we have is a kind of like a something incredible. Okay, yeah, we have trillions of neurons. What's the neurons? A neurons means like kind of like a something connection. Okay, example: if I plug the switch and if I kind of like a turn on the switch and fan is on, okay, or light is on, okay, yeah, so the connection is actually from wire, okay, yeah, so this wire is actually connected from plug to fan, and if I turn on, then probably fan is on, okay, yeah, the information is actually happened very fast, so you don't really consider that it's happened very fast, okay, yeah, but it happened very slow as compared to, okay, yeah, if I'm try to understand from perspective, let's say that key, um telephone ring, yeah, like a basically is this thing, when we call someone, okay, yeah, it takes time to take call, okay, why? Because delaying connection depends on the network and everything, okay, this is all actually kind of like a some mechanism thing, okay, yeah, but kind of like a something, it's a kind of like a something connection between them, okay, like a basically how does connection they have regarding about their internal structure and things like that, and that internal structure is connected by the wires, okay, yeah, same thing happened with us, but it's in actually a neurons, okay, what's the neurons, what is exactly it does, okay, so basically is this thing, our brain are meant to be protect our body, okay, as also every brain of every species have one job to protect their body from every situation, from every point of perspective, so they are always wants to know about what exactly stuff happen, and they are kind of like a protecting from internal and external too, okay, yeah. So what exactly is this thing, what exactly is this meaning of that? It means that, example, there is a kind of like a something stuff at the floor, might be a blade, okay, yeah, if you step on it, probably you will cut your leg, okay, yeah, you will get injured or something like that, okay, when you are see that particular thing, your eyes could send a signal to your brain, and brain says that stop it, change your direction, something like that, and we change that particular thing. It happened so fast, so fast, that you won't be able to kind of like a something just, I don't know, it happened so fast. If you don't really resonate with this example, take the F1 driver, okay, yeah, F1 driver is the Formula 1 driver car, okay, the person who drive that particular car is like really incredible. Let me tell you one thing, that car would went almost like a 400 km per hour, 300 to 400, it's a kind of like a somebody average speed, 300 400 km per hour, okay, I'm not really sure, but yeah, probably it's very fast, okay, yeah, very fast. Just try to imagine, just take the minimum velocity like a 300 km per hour, 300 km per hour, that's like a really fast, really fast. And F1 drives, their track is not straight track, no, they have kind of like a twist and turn and things like that, okay. Can you imagine, okay, like 300 km was too much, okay, let's say 200 km, yeah, 200 km, 200 km per hour, okay, yeah. So let's say you are driving a car 200 km, and you know you have to take a right, what should you supposed to do? Apply the brake, okay, yeah, apply the brake, turn the wheel. This has to be happened so fast. If you didn't, probably you're gonna die, you're gonna crash and you're gonna die, okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, the average response from your organ to your brain was like a so fast that you just have to take the decision, gup 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 gup, okay, yeah. Then you drive that particular F1 car, and as also is this thing, driving an F1 car is really required, not just kind of like a something just a precision about decision making, but as also kind of like accurate regarding about your thought process, and as also the cars too, okay, yeah, because you are applying the brakes should supposed to be applied on the wheels so that you could stop and you could turn the car. It a lot of things, by the way. As also, if you try to resonate even more with example, just example is that fighting, okay, yeah, when you are doing fighting, you are kind of like a something, your eyes and your brains are kind of like a simply active, such a thing that you are kind of like a, because it's a kind of like a such a situation where your body is kind of like a simply in danger, okay, and your brain is kind of like a simply have one function to protect our body. And when you are fighting, this might be kind of like a something problem, this might be kind of like a something situation that you might not gonna protect, or brain might not gonna protect their body. So at that time our brain is became so strong, our neurons are became so strong, they are kind of like a somebody doing such a thing, actions and movements such a way that not only you protect your body, but as also you hit the other person too. Okay, yeah, this is also happened. It's like really incredible, dude. Okay, like really incredible. Just try to imagine how this thing is actually happen. Your brain is like a something such a structure that we are not able to understand, not able to understand. Yeah, most of the scientists says that we have trillions of neurons that we are not using it. What do you mean by that? So basically is this thing, all the example that I told you is just because of that ki some says brain are kind of like a using, like a, we are using our 20% of our brain, 80% of brain are still we are not using it. Why? Because of that ki the brain doesn't really require that much kind of like a thing. Okay, yeah, but I'm not really sure, because of that kids not really like 80% of brain and 20% of brain, nothing really at all. Okay, it's a kind of like a something is this thing that ki our organs or our entire body made in a such a way that they meant to be improved. What do you mean by it meant to be improved? Okay, example, if I say I have a hard disk which is almost like a 1 terabyte of hard disk. Okay, yeah. How much storage it has? It has almost like a 926 GB. Alright, yeah. If I'm say after 100 year, how much space will it be remain? Okay, I'm not gonna put any kind of like a data over there. I'm just like a put the hard disk over here. It has almost like a 943 GB remaining. After 100 year, I'm coming back and I'm seeing how much remaining data they have. Still they have 946 because it's untouched for almost like 100 year. That hard disk was there, nothing really at all. It's kind of like a something stationary. Okay, yeah, hard disks are kind of like a something a non-living thing. Okay, yeah, which is if you didn't really touch it, if you didn't really did it, it's same as it is, nothing really happened, again nothing really happened, anything at all. Okay, but our brain is kind of like a very different thing. Okay, yeah, not only brain but as also our humans, our entire thing. Okay, yeah, it meant to be improved, it not meant to be kind of like a some step. Okay, why I'm actually comparing my brain with a hard disk, I don't know. I don't know why. But what I'm trying to tell you is this thing ki our brain are meant to be improved. Okay, yeah. Like not only brain, but as also every organism or sorry, every organ that meant to be improved. Okay. Example. At the beginning, you are not dancing. After you take the class, you are kind of like a pro at dancing. At the beginning, you are not kind of like a sketching that much good, but after you take the classes, after you watch some sort of tutorial, you could draw, you could do such a thing. Okay, yeah, our body are meant to be learning, meant to be kind of like improving. Okay, like basically at the beginning you don't really have a six pack, you went to the gym, do exercise, you have six pack, abs, muscles, body, amazing. Okay, as also if you wanted to kind of like improve on something, you could do that, because our brain, and not only brain but as also our muscles memory are also meant to be improved. Okay, for kind of like doing the action again and again and again and again. Can I say this statement to the any other species? Okay, like basically can I say that ki like a pigeon have their brain? Okay, yeah, so basically they are meant to be learn, or they are meant to be kind of like do such a thing. I don't know. Okay, I haven't really seen any six pack pigeon. I haven't really seen any kind of like a some pigeon who could write or kind of like a thing. I haven't really seen not only the pigeon but as also take the monkeys. Yeah, our ancestor take the monkeys. They could do such a thing? No, they just eat, sleep, and yeah, they might have some sort of brain. They could kind of like do such a thing. Like, I'm not kind of like somebody scientist, and I'm not kind of like somebody criticizing their brain power and things like that. But still, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: our humans are meant to be improved, and no one species are not meant to be improved. Like, basically, tigers are eating animal from thousands of year, and still they are eating things, eating animals. Okay, yeah. Okay, like, basically is this thing, the upgrade is actually happened to the human a lot. Okay, a lot regarding about the way that they look, the way that they act, the way that they talk, the way that, I don't know, any other species never really done that much mutation. In the humans, the mutation is actually happening. The humans was like a so much that, I don't know. As the same thing, mutation happened with the dogs too. Okay, yeah. Dogs are actually are fox. Okay, like, dogs are, they don't really have any species. Okay, in our natural selection process of any species list, dogs is not exist. Okay, it's a fox. Okay, their ancestor are fox. Okay, yeah. Dogs are like, basically dogs are also a fox too. Okay, also, like, the dog that you are seeing is not a dog, it's fox. It's a kind of like a something. Yeah, but why it's kind of like a somebody dog? Because of that, ki kind of like a somebody, the transformation is actually happened on the human. Same thing happened with the dogs too, because dogs and humans are kind of like a something connected with such a so much strong bond. From almost like a 40,000 year we are been together as a dog and human. So basically the transformation is actually happened because the human has a brain, and human could kind of like develop themselves and try to create such a situation where kind of like other pets they could use, and they also treat them as a kind of like a something like hospitality or kind of like doing such a thing. So dogs are kind of like a something convert in a such a way, sorry, fox are convert in a such a way right now they are kind of like a became a dog. Okay, yeah, they look really cute, they are kind of like something really great. Okay, but example is this thing: if the humans are kind of like a something disappear, then dogs are became fox within almost like 100 year. Yeah, like the transformation will gonna happen back to the original. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a something is this happened when you are kind of like a something pampered the fox, it will become the dog. Okay, yeah. So this natural selection is actually happened. It's not natural. It's a kind of like a something just artificially something happened, and right now dogs are kind of like a something convert fox to dog. Okay, yeah. But they are actually a fox. Okay, they are actually a fox. Okay. Still, I am not really sure. I heard from the YouTube and things like that. Okay, yeah. I am not really kind of like a somebody person who kind of like a telling such a thing regarding about scientific selection and kind of like a somebody. I don't know. I'm not that person. Okay, yeah. So might be I would be kind of like a somebody 100% wrong in that everything what I would say. Okay, so you just have to understand. But I'm trying as much as positive or as much as kind of like some information that I know that I have. Okay, yeah. So it's not kind of like some information is always precise. Nothing really at all. All right, yeah. So my second thing is the first thing is a hand that I talk. Brain is a kind of like a thing which is kind of like a something really complex thing, a complex design that really amazing. Okay, yeah. Our immune system. I wanted to talk about the immune system as well as the immune system. Everyone has it. Okay, yeah. It's not that much kind of like a something very incredible thing, but still, okay, yeah. It okay, yeah. What is actually immune thing? Okay, yeah. Immune system means like that the way that body are kind of like a handle the kind of like a wrong thing inside our thing. Okay, means like that if the stuff is actually happened like a viruses and bacteria, the way that our body fight with those bacteria stuff like that, which is really incredible. Okay, yeah. But what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: our immune system is not really that much strong as it compared to the other species. Okay, yeah. Other species have like, have you seen any kind of like some species they went to the doctor and take the penicillin or take any kind of like a something like aspirin or any kind of like a medicine? No, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. um other species have kind of like some very strong immune system that we've been very less. Okay, yeah. And as also is this thing, as we improve, our immune system went really low again too. Example, like can you just understand your subjective, understand your surrounding. Okay, yeah. Your grandfather haven't really seen hospital for entire period of lifetime. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Might be they would see hospital in a very very critical situation, but for rest of the lifetime they haven't really been sick. They haven't really been any kind of like some of this stuff. If they broke or if they think, just yeah, just go with this thing. Okay, yeah. So basically our grandfather haven't really seen that many hospitals, that many thing. Why we are kind of like a went to the hospital every month or once in a year, or why does we do that? Is because of that key, like the way that we eat, the way that we breathe, because pollution and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. So as well as like the doctor, does we really required much more than last 50 year. Okay, yeah. And basically for like a 500 year ago, doctor was not even exist. Okay, yeah, like doctor was exist, but it's kind of like a something uh, connected with the cultural thing, because at that time kind of like a some sort of stuff is actually happened with the people, or kind of like a disease or something. At that time disease was not even exist. Okay, if the person would die, just let it die, let him die. Probably. Okay, yeah, but like basically at that time our immune system was really strong regarding about how they fight. In early humans, like basically generation Z, and sorry, Gen Z, and like the new generation. Okay, what's the new generation? The people who born from 1997 to 2000, 2010. Okay, 1997 to 2010. Sorry, 2015. Yeah, 2015. Okay, like basically the people who born from 1997 to 2015, or maybe I'm not really sure that particular year range, but those people are called as a kind of like a something Gen Z. Okay, yeah. And after the Gen Z means like the people who born like sorry, 2010 maybe. I'm not really sure. Okay, okay, but basically the people who born after 2015, they are called as Gen Alpha. Okay, yeah. What's the Gen Alpha? Like why we are kind of like a separating human with the generations? Okay, that's really good thing. Okay, why does we do that? Is actually because of the entire like as I mentioned earlier, humans are mutate a lot. Okay, what's a mutate? Okay, I'm not talking about kind of like a mutate in zombies or stuff like that. No, a mutation means like that way that we do, way that we act, the way that we handle situation, the way that we survive. Example, thousands of year ago we don't really know how to farming. Okay, sorry, not thousands. Okay, like more than like just example is this thing that key, more than almost like a millions of year ago, humans are kind of like something exist, but they don't really know how to farm. Okay, they are wanted to survive, so they are kind of like doing the hunting. Okay, yeah. When they went to the hunting, that means kind of like they really required need to run, they really required need to be kind of like a fight with the kind of like a something crazy animal, something like that. Okay, yeah. So when the human are doing such a thing, our entire organism, sorry, entire human structure change. Okay, yeah. Our muscles change, our the kind of like a running kind of like a something change, our kind of like a something, the entire kind of like a humans biological changes has happened, and they are meant to be run, they are meant to be kind of like a hunting thingy, because at that time it's really essential. Okay, yeah. Then after that we knows farming, so probably somewhat we are not really running that much, we really require strength and things like that, so strength will occurred. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing regarding about the human choices, and regarding about human does or human work, our human body is actually change. Okay, yeah. Like basically your grandfather are kind of like a something running and doing such a thing, their entire healthy body, their bodies became really healthy. Okay, they are kind of like a live more, they are very strong, they are kind of like a something very very kind of like a something like crazy crazy good person. Okay, yeah. Your father is also kind of like a such thing, but as also is this thing, our work culture is different. Okay, yeah. Previously people are went to do some sort of physical work to gain some sort of money so that they would survive their families. Right now our work means like that, sit in front of a desk or computer and do your work. So probably our kind of like a something work culture is different. Okay, yeah, means like that we could earn money through just sitting on the bench and do something like that. So basically our physical things became very less. So probably that's why people are not really that much strength, they have kind of like a little bit of weakness. Okay, when they have weakness they have kind of like a little bit less immune system. When they have less immune system they went to the hospital. Okay, now generation, like basically when the work change, generation is also change. Okay, yeah, like basically why we put kind of like somebody generation is kind of like somebody categorize humans with the generation so that they could understand the study and they could kind of like relate that study with particular generation, how it kind of like affect on this generation, that generation, that generation. I am millennial, I'm not Gen Z. I am millennial. I born in 1993, so I am millennial. Okay, yeah. My father is a my father was a kind of like a early boomer, or probably I'm not really sure that there is kind of like a something the name of that particular generation. By the way, Gen Z is a kind of like a something the name which is actually created by the people. Okay, yeah, but the scientific name of the Gen Z is a kind of like a different. Okay, our scientific name of the generation is also bitterly different. Okay, he just kind of like try to tell the scientific way with something like just sigma words to something like that, whatever. Dude, I'm talking a lot. It's been almost like a 41 minute. I'm just talking regarding about your human body and something like that. Okay, yeah. But yeah, let's jump right into the answer. First is that what is kind of like a something if the human body is a machine, what is the most brilliant design? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say hand that I talk about this. Brain. Okay, yeah. Immune system is also really good. Okay, yeah. These are kind of like a stuff that I would kind of like somebody admire, that the mechanism and everything was really incredible. All right. Okay, this is it, and I should supposed to be end it, and thank you.